To enable us make up, it is sometimes better to break up. Demolishing Lagos. As Lagos continues to be a magnet for real estate investors and enthusiasts, please be careful when buying landed property in Lekki, Ajah, Badagry, and environs, as these areas where land is, especially for those of you living abroad. Since the start of 2024, the Lagos state government has undertaken numerous demolition of illegal structures throughout the state, aiming to ensure compliance with building codes, clear water channels, and foster urban regeneration. The controversial and widely discussed demolition of houses in the upscale area of Lekki has raised questions, concerns, and speculations about the motive behind a massive urban transformation, even as some people have speculated that it's an attempt at claiming land from the everyday people. Some even read ethnicity into it. But I want to ask, why government go they destroy property where they don't give approval to build? Well, as a lawyer, you know, saying advice will they sell more advice, we make money from advice. But on this one, I want to give you this advice, FOC, free of charge. The United Nations Environmental Program has predicted that if care is not taken and environmental issues are not addressed or resolved in a few years from now, Lekki and its environ might be submerged in water. So the Lagos state government is no longer joking with breach of buildings code and setback laws, as this can result in a reason for demolition of houses. So all those approval when government will give you and your engineer and consultant will say, in no mean, add small here, remove small there. Now demolition you they play with, so I they tell you. You get approval for a gatehouse. You decided to add 2 floors to it because people are looking for houses. I they advise you now. Because you have space in front of your house, you decide to build small shop, blaming poverty because you know some people go rent out. And they also advise you. You buy land without perfection or approval because young people are running away from Shylock landlord in Lekki. You start to build mini estate even without approval. And they advise you also. Setback, no be for fun. As some of you now go even buy land and build house, enter road or block water channel and go they complain thereafter when small rain fall and everywhere block. Check yourself. Another one. How many of you have heard of the phrase flying coordinate? I go explain. When you buy a gazetted land in Lagos, especially from Omonile, the mistake most lawyers make is that they only conduct searches on the validity of the gazette and hardly bother about charting the survey to check if it actually falls within the area covered by the gazette that the Omonile is using to sell the land. Some of them go even use the coordinate of Ogombo to sell Songo Tedo. That is what they call flying coordinates. They fly the coordinate. At the end, your architect and engineer also, because they want to make money, they will tell you, you know, just start building without approval. That they will later request for approval as is to regularize for you. Oh boy, shine your eye, Lagos, no, they smile this time. Oh. Most of the properties in Lekki Corridor, Ikorodu, Badagry, and trade fair houses are without approval and proper regularization. And now Lagos State government has given a 90-day window for owners to take advantage of and regularize their property documents and approval. So take advantage of it. Because after now, you go wake up one day and boom, all those Laska boys, Lagos State Building Control Agency demolition team, with their guy, that ebullient architect, Gbolahan Oki, go there your doorstep, and trust me, that Oki, the second name na Asake, meaning they don't remove him ear. Him and him boys know they hear a beg at all. So please avoid all of these begs and ensure strict compliance to the latter to avoid enjoy bombing soften. If you have a dilapidated building and house when done burned and is life-threatening, if you can't afford to renovate or rehabilitate the house or go into a joint venture to rebuild and rebrand, just sell it and go and buy another one in Badagry or Ikorodu. Trust me, with the new railway from Badagry and the 4th mainland bridge from Ikorodu, this area will soon become a hot cake for real estate investors. Not everybody go stay Lekki. So instead of waiting for the government to demolish your house, and you know, say once it collapses on its own or the demolition, even the land itself will become government owned. So wise up. Lastly, apart from non-availability of land in Lagos, there's a call by government to demolish most of these shanties to not only pave way for urban development and renewal, but also most of these places house criminals and petty thieves. So just like the recent demolition of shanties in Orchid Road and Jakonde Estate in Lekki, But I would also encourage the government to help create low-cost housing so that most of these people that are living in shanties can have alternative. So when next your property is marked for demolition, check your title documents and approval very well before shouting ethnicity or witch hunting. But I will therefore advocate, apart from the fact that government need to be specific on building codes, regulation, approval, and guidelines so that property owners, developers, and city planners can be aware to enable them adhere to these regulations and ensure a safe and sustainable urban development in Lagos. There's need to punish officials and consultants who aid builders and developers to violate this regulation, if only to serve as a deterrent to would-be officials and consultants. The idea of just taking over the land and leaving the officials, it's not helping matters. There's also need for government investment in low-cost income earners' houses by also investing in mortgage bank and financing so that we'll reduce the number of shanties in these urban areas and also create jobs through regular housing development by mortgage society, as against this idea of buying properties like someone buying tuber of yam in the market, property 500 million. Why won't people steal? Lastly, let's endeavor to comply with building codes and setback, as most of this recent fire outbreak in Lagos would have been avoided or partially saved by firefighters if only the buildings had ensured compliance with building codes and regulation, and there'll be space to navigate. Well, as always, go live and hear. Feel free to agree or disagree with us by adding your comments on any of our social media platforms shown on your screen. You can also share to save someone's property for demolition or save someone from buying a property where it gets small problem. I know that the problem is small, so you could expand. Like they say, it doesn't matter. Now, what they cause accidents sometimes. So do the right thing so you won't be a brother to Mr. Late. See you next week.